Listening to your means content may not be suitable to some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Listening to your means content may not be suitable to some audiences. Your discretion is advised.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual Purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the Purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the Purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the Purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
It started. It has begun. Yeah.
Like 30 days of this purge.
Yeah. Wow. Oh well. Hey, you know what? It is what it is. I guess, right? Is that a bad thing to say?
I mean, once the purge starts, I mean, it's just every man for himself.
Yeah.
It's like a battle royal. Just think of it as a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, gonna have to. Yeah, right? Jesus Christ.
But with death.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that in a few seconds. I'm Tony Diaz. We got Rick Serrano III.
Hey, people.
Miguel Cole with us.
Hello. I hope you guys die.
Wrestling POV podcast, folks. Can't believe everything that's happening now. Are we running out of material yet? No.
No.
No, I don't think we are.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been great.
No. So, in case you guys haven't been, I don't know where the fuck you guys have been.
I mean, they've all been home. I mean, hopefully they've all been home.
Hopefully.
Following the orders.
Oh, man. Let's just hope so. Anyways, yeah. As a sad weekend in wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, for sure. All right, let's just go get on with the show. Let's get on with it.
And we have a lot of good stuff to cover today.
Yes, we do.
I mean, we do have sad news, but we have we got some hot tag news that's running all over the show. About 3 different things going on, man. Then we got our greatest Intercontinental champion of all time tournament happening today. I mean, we are going to crown the greatest Intercontinental champion today.
Yes, we
and
are.
I'm very excited about that one.
I am too. You know why?
You
know why? Because all the tournaments that I see that people do, and fantasy tournaments, obviously, it's just, it's always like the big people, the big dogs, the heavyweight champs and shit like that, and
the Hulk Hogan's,
the Hulk Hogan's and the John
Goldbergs,
Cena,
John Cena, Undertakers. No mid cards though, man.
I've never seen a mid card one done before.
And especially when they brag about how prestigious the Intercontinental title is.
Yeah, so you know what? That's why we're doing this tournament, to see if it is really that prestigious. So, all right, Rick.
And we have, it's you and me only, so in case of a tie. Oh, I'm finally going to get to vote. No. Oh, you guys should go to hell. Well, I'm already in it, living with you. Touche.
Yeah.
Elio Canella from Wrestling POV Global has put in his picks.
Yeah.
And if we come into a tie, which me and Tony most likely will come into a couple of ties here and there, Elio will break it.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully
it'll
me
work.
and Tony didn't agree on something and then he messes it up. I know,
right?
Elio is drunk 24/6. I think he takes off one day. No?
I don't think so. I don't think he does. Okay. No, poor guy. All right, so all right,
let's get on with it. Let's get straight into it.
Let's get straight into it.
kicking off with the hot tag news this week.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey's comments. Now, last week we went over this about how Ronda Rousey was calling she's over the effing fans, the ungrateful fans, and the fake wrestling and fake fighting. She's done with it. She said this on the Steve-O podcast. I mean, that's such a jackass. See what I did there? Jackass. I mean, you guys don't even let me vote. You want me to press the drum?
Exactly.
Sorry. All right. But the thing that bothered me about this, and this is, I didn't post it because I just wanted to talk to Tony about it. I want you guys to listen. Tony, this is what's bothering me about this whole Ronda Rousey thing, is that there are professional wrestlers out there that are supporting this woman in these egregious comments. I saw Eric from the Viking Raiders put a laughing emoji, and people were like, yeah, can you believe her? He's like, I'm not laughing at Ronda, I'm laughing at you marks. And it's just like, why are you saying that? And then you got Hulk Hogan supporting her, and you got other old school male wrestlers. Hulk Hogan basically was just saying, oh, you gotta, I see where she's coming from, and stuff like that. And like, so, just basically in support of it. I don't have like word for word, but there's a bunch of male wrestlers specifically that are supporting Ronda. CM Punk supported her, saying that CM he understands.
That's your boy.
Yeah, man, he's a fucking douchebag, though. I know that. Listen, you don't think I know he's a douchebag? I love the guy. I love him as a wrestler, but he's a douchebag. And if I met him in person, I would probably be like, oh, can I have your autograph? He would say something stupid, and then it's on.
No, then you would hug him.
Flying. Probably. Yeah, I definitely would. But seriously.
Okay, bring it in. Bring it in.
Best in the world! But there are a lot of comments going out there, Chris Jericho and stuff like that, of support of what Ronda Rousey was saying. And then there's a lot of women wrestlers, Nia Jax, who says she'll break her face.
Yeah. I would love to see a fight between them two.
Yeah, a real fight.
Alexa
Bliss. Yeah, Alexa Bliss made a comment saying that she was just taken aback by it. Lana was very vocal about that, talking about how dare she do that, how if wrestling is fake, how come Edge took 10 years to come back, how come Paige can't fight anymore,
I saw that. That was a tweet, right?
Yeah. Lana only tweets. She doesn't. She got the Twitter fingers. But yeah, so Tony, before I give my POV on it, what's your take on what Ronda said and the response from the wrestling world?
Well, I mean, only probably just Ronda knows what's going on as far as, is it a work or is it a shoot? If it's a work, she's doing a good job. She's, she left as a heel. Is she going to come back as a heel? That's one way of doing it. If this is a straight up shoot, then, in my opinion, she has no respect for the business. For some people in the roster, that's been in the independent league for God knows how long, to work their way into the big time, WWE or WCW at the time, or, now AEW, whatever. It's, to me, it's a slap in the face for them. She only got in because of who she is, Yes. This is a touchy situation. And the reason why I say it's a touchy situation is because the way Vince McMahon looks at this, and then this is probably what some other wrestlers see it, is, Vince sees money with Ronda Rousey. Why? Because she was labeled the baddest woman in the planet, or whatever she was called, So Vince sees money. To have her headline in a pay-per-view is going to bring more buy-ins. It's going to bring more people to spend money. It's going to be a sold-out show. Now, for Vince, it's money. For the rest of the talent, that's money in their pocket too. You know what I'm saying? So they getting money out of this also. So that's why I say this is a touchy situation, because in one hand, if this is a shoot, she's disrespecting the business big time, and people like myself and who knows out there. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but they'll probably get offended by what she's saying because, we all worked hard to try to get to where we're at. We had to start from the bottom literally and get to where we're at, where she never had to do that. Braun Strowman too. I'm curious to see what he was going to say about this whole thing. But, then again, if I was in WWE right now, honestly, I would take a step back. I wouldn't say nothing. If somebody asked me for a comment, I honestly would say no comment. Because like I said, it's a touchy situation where you have to look at it on both sides. One, she's going to make me money too. Because my payday might be a little bit higher. It might be $100 higher. It might be $1,000 higher. Who the fuck knows? If she's on this pay-per-view and I'm working this pay-per-view also. If I'm not in WWE, fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's I don't. Where is she trying to get at with this?
That's the thing. So for me, the way I look at it is, it was 1,000% a shoot. Mm-hmm. She has no respect for this business. When she was humbled in UFC, what happened? She went on Ellen. She was crying. I hate myself. I don't think I'm worthy of anything. And then she left. Then what'd she do? She went to WWE. She was at the top of the game. Everybody loved her. But then she started saying stupid shit, which I 1,000% again think was a shoot. And Vince McMahon and creative said, we got to work this into a work, guys.
Yeah.
And they worked it into a work. Yep. And once again, now people started to hate her. And she cannot handle being hated. She cannot handle being disliked. If she's not the best, she believes she's the worst. And that's a mental deficiency on her part.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, there are numbers between first and last. Okay? This is not Ricky Bobby, okay?
You ain't first, you're last.
There are numbers in between first and last. When I wake up in the morning,
I just piss excellence.
Shake and bake, baby. Ricky Bobby.
Dear Lord, baby
Ricky
Jesus.
Bobby. But seriously, I am really disappointed in the wrestlers that are calling us marks, us fans.
Yeah.
Because
they're marks too,
if any of us, Tony, any of us are fans, any fans would have said these words, what would you do?
I'd be pissed.
You, as a wrestler, you get pissed off when they throw around that word fake. You said it numerous times on this show.
Exactly, yeah.
What gives her the right to do that?
You're right.
What gives her the right? Because what is she doing? She is pulling back the curtain. Mm-hmm. And listen, we know that the results are all scripted. But I know what the wrestlers give. They give their bodies, they give their minds, they give their time to this business. Mm-hmm. And what she is doing is she is ridiculing every one of those wrestlers that do all those things and making them look stupid. And they look even more stupid by supporting her. Yeah. By saying, oh, you marks think this is real?
See, that's why I'm saying I don't know. That's kind of hard to determine if this is a work or a shoot. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody would use that as a work. In their right mind would agree with that. There's no fucking way. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what? I mean, a lot of people don't like this guy, but you know what? He tells the freaking truth most of the time. Jim Cornette. You heard what he said? You heard what he said about that? Oh,
what he said?
Oh, he said a lot of nasty things. Listen to his show. I don't know what his show is called. What the hell is it? I don't know. Either way. But he went off on it. That she was crying because she was on the road 200 days of the year. It's like, give me a fucking break.
Oh, yeah. And, I did read about that.
Yeah. And he was like, that, like, I forgot who Jim Cornette had. He had somebody on. Jesus, I forgot who. I don't know who it was, but they were just like, give me a fucking break. Where he had to wrestle, oh my God, like 10 times in 7 days or some shit like that. I was like,
yeah, Jesus. She's on a part-time schedule.
Exactly. You are on a part-time schedule, woman. Please. I've never seen her in a house show. Oh, no. You know what? I take it back.
She was at a couple.
She did a couple house shows. But at the same time, those house shows that she did, they were recorded for TV. Oh, look what happened. Oh, Ronda showed up. And that's a slick move on WWE to make sure people go to these house shows because you never know what you're going to get. And that's why they do that. It's a smart marketing move. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to take that away. But at the same time, her contract was, I think it was maybe $1.2 million. I think.
Yeah, she was one of the highest paid, if not the highest woman. And the other thing, Tony, she talks about wrestling 200 days, whatever, and saying that any of these fighters that could say any of these fighters in WWE can't fight in real life.
Yeah.
Basically saying that.
But
and it's like,
though, that's not the
Brock
first
Lesnar
time. Yeah, that's what I was
the
gonna
top
say.
title.
A lot of those UFC fighters, I've heard a few of them say that. But then I've heard a few of them also say, too, that, pro wrestlers are probably one of the toughest people out there because of what they do. And, they got to do this every day where we're tough, but, we fight. Our matches are like every 6 months or something like that, So some of them do respect pro wrestling, but a lot of them, they say exactly what you just said. They're like, pro wrestlers, they can't make it in MMA. Brock Lesnar just beat the piss out of people and took your title.
Say that shit to Bobby Lashley.
Say that exactly.
Say that shit to Kurt Angle. Jack Swagger. Say that shit to any of those guys.
Wait,
say
can
that
we
shit
say CM Punk too? No.
But you know what? I'm glad I brought up Kurt Angle. Not you, me. Kurt Angle was... I wish Kurt would talk about this. And the reason why we haven't heard from Kurt is because Kurt is just like... I'm not going to get involved.
Yeah.
Because he disagrees.
Yeah.
When you disagree, you said it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to talk.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle came into this company not knowing a goddamn thing about wrestling.
Mark Henry too.
He knew how to wrestle, but this was an Olympic gold medalist. I know Mark Henry didn't know, but Kurt Angle came in and he needed to humble himself, and he humbled himself quickly. Vince McMahon told him to get the step in.
Yeah.
It took another 2 years for him to come in. But Kurt Angle, I wish he would step up and say something about what Ronda said.
Yeah.
The pain that he went through. I mean, he had a broken freaking neck in the Olympics, but the pain meds and all that stuff came after that when he broke his neck 2 more times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just done with Ronda Rousey, and I'm done with all these people calling people marks. I'm sick of these indie wrestlers, and I have a lot of them on my wrestling page, on my Facebook page, that they're talking like, you work for a hot dog and a handshake. You don't get the right to call me a mark. Yeah. You don't get the right to call all these people marks because you yourself are a fan
marks
of the business.
They're all marks because if you wasn't a mark, you wouldn't be doing it. I've said this, we talked about this before, about the term mark. You know what I'm saying? We all know what a mark is. I explained it once. I'm not going to explain it again. But... I'm a mark for the business. I mean, come on. Look what we're doing now. We're doing a podcast on wrestling. If that's not being a mark, I don't know what it is. So, I hate the fact that, exactly what you just said. And those type of people do not make it in the business. I'm sorry. They just don't. Because there's like actually the show that we had out in Tennessee with Brian Christopher. And the promoter, he changed the match like how many times? Like 6 times. It was supposed to be like a tornado six-way. Then they made it to a 5-way. Then they did a 4-on-1, and then the 3-on triple threat. I'm like, Jesus Christ! And then, but when it was originally the 6-way, one of the guys there, he just thought that his shit didn't stink. you know? And I kicked back and I was listening to this guy. Well, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to get my, you know, like he just wanted to get his shit in, you know, because he knew this was a 6-way. So he was just, you know, and I'm just kicking back listening to this dude. And he's just like, oh, yeah, I want to do this. I want to do that. You know, I got 10 years in the business. And once he said that, I was like, all right, all right. And then he just kept on talking, and he looked at me. He goes, well, you're the big guy, so I want to get this on you. And and he kept on talking. I'm like, listen, homie, I got 20 years in. The minute I said that, he fucking just, oh, shit. Like, I called his bullshit, you know? Like, dude, that's not what you're supposed to be taught. You don't talk like that in front of anybody else. You know, when I get into a match, like, if I don't even know the guy, I'm like, all right, what do you want to do? That's the first thing I say. What the fuck do you want to do? I don't know. Let's just let's do this. You're the heel, right? So hey, just get over as much as you can. I'll do the comeback kit, and that's it. That's how you're supposed to talk to other. You know, when people talk like that. Well, I want to get my shit in, so I want to do that. They're the biggest fucking marks in the business, and then they're the first ones to use the term mark in a bad way towards somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And those are the ones I can't stand to work with. I just can't. So, hey, you know what? When I get into the ring with you, yeah, I will be a little bit stiffer with your ass. So, I don't like people like that.
As we wrap this up, I want to say this about Ronda Rousey. The bitch is going in the book.
Again?
She's going in the book. Yeah, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of her. Like, you don't understand. Tony, I wish for a second you could take over my body and feel what I feel. The rage that I felt reading support for her. And listen.
Who else was supporting her?
It was just a bunch of wrestlers, a bunch of indie wrestlers, a bunch of professionals, WWE guys, and stuff like that. Just kissing her ass. It's just stop, bro. Yeah. It's just disgusting because your writers are trying to turn this into a work. It's not a work. She was being 100% real about that. She don't give a fuck about you ungrateful fans, DK. So Ronda Rousey's bitch ass is going in the book.
All right.
You just made the book. Bitch ass.
Bitch ass. There she is. She's
all right.
She's officially.
Now that we got that bullshit out the way, let's move on to something exciting.
Yes.
And by exciting, I mean round 1 of our Intercontinental tournament. Before we get started, I want to just go over how we came up with this list, and then we got some comments on our Facebook page that we're going to go over, and then we're going to get into it. So for us, what we did was I looked into the top 32 longest reigns of the Intercontinental Championship. Now, there were 174 title reigns. There were 86, I believe, different champions for the Intercontinental title since it first started.
Wow. Yeah, I'm glad you're explaining this, Rick, because there was a few people that were like, well, what about this person? What about this person? What about this? Oh, my God. It's like...
Yes. So...
you won it one time. That you do not qualify to be on this fucking tournament.
No. If you did win it one time, it's fine. Well, as long as you had a fucking long reign.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
There are a couple of guys. There's like the 85th place guy that had it for one day. So it's like he's not going to be the greatest IC champ.
No.
So what we did was we took the top 32, and as we go through the first round, I'm going to mention the person's name, how many times they had the title, and how long they had the title for. And this is accumulative. So if they had it 8 times, how many days altogether they had it. That's how we came up with the longest reign. So we have it from 1 to 32.
Right.
All right, so let's get into some of the comments. And basically what we did was we posted up the tournament bracket, and you, the fans, predicted who you think should win. You came up with your final 4, your final 2, or you picked the winner overall. So here we go. Yeah,
Clay Cummings, the $50 man himself, he picked 9-time Intercontinental Champion Y2J, Chris Jericho.
Now, that's a good pick right there.
That is a good
pick.
pick.
You know what? I just want to say a quick story about Clay Cummings. Remember we talked about Clay Cummings not buying the WWE Network?
Yeah.
Well, he messaged me the other day and he said, "Yeah, man, it's a no-go on the network. The wife has spoken." And then he's like, POV, power of vagina.
Power of the vagina.
And I said, you know what? I've been there. I know what you're talking about. So,
well, I thought they were giving it for free though this week.
No,
or this month.
Well, what he did say was because of the power of the vagina, he's not going to get it. But he has Wrestling POV to help him out on what he misses. So there you go. So thank you, Clay Cummings, for a That's why you were the fan of the year last year.
That's why he won fan of the year. Exactly. All right, Matt Novak. He said Jericho. And he posted the GIF.
Oh, man, I got a pattern here.
Yeah, I am the best in the world of what I do. Josh Sanders, the cream rises to the top. He picked Randy Savage. Yeah. Jeremiah Young, he says, I think it's going to go down to a Y2J versus HBK final with Y2J edging out Michaels as the greatest IC champion ever.
That's pretty good.
Now, do you think they're only picking Jericho because of his success in AEW right now?
No, I think they respect what he did for the Intercontinental Championship. I think it's legit. Okay. I think he is the most title reigns as IC champ. So you have to.
Ian Demore, he says The Rock for me. I loved watching him and Triple H feud for it back in in '98.
Yeah, that's
Paul
true.
Wiener,
he was.
He says all good in their own way.
Wiener.
Tom Flanagan, he says Final Four, Y2J, Honky Tonk Man, HBK, and Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Wow.
That's
that's
an interesting pick, but they're all good. All good.
Yeah.
Timothy Caparaco, he says Y2J versus Miz at the end. John Ebach, he says Savage versus Razor, final for me. David Morales, he said Val Venus.
He's not in this.
He's not even in the bracket. Delgado Augustine, he says Greg Valentine. John Saft, he said Owen Hart.
Owen Hart's not in the bracket. I love Owen, but he's not in the bracket. He didn't have that many days as champ.
No. AJ Haynes, he said Savage, Tito, HBK, The Rock are your final four. Interesting. Okay. Jason Helbig. Now, see, this is what I was just fucking talking about. No Santino? He is the greatest Intercontinental champion of all times.
No, that's what Santino used to always say. So that I gave that a joke. Yeah. I gave them
Ryan
a joke
Conway.
pass.
He posted a GIF of. I was gonna say No Way Jose because I saw the fro. That's fucked up. But it's Carlito Colon or Caribbean Cool.
Caribbean Cool.
John.
Not in the bracket.
Yeah, not in the bracket. John Sapp. He commented twice. You can't have two comments. Jared Polk. He says my final four is Savage versus Ziggler and Orton versus Razor. Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Rocky Robbie, actually. He said Edge. Larry Henning. Interesting. He says perfect. Nadim Alvi. He says wow. That's all he just said. I don't know who wow is, but he's saying that's the person that's going to win it. Woo Flair.
Flair wasn't even Intercontinental champion.
No, that's the person's name.
Oh, Woo Flair.
His name is Woo Flair. WOO Flair. He says Y2J versus Miz. Simple. He commented again. He commented the last three. He says no Y2J has to beat Honky Tonk Man to get there. Miz should face Perfect. Then we go from there. Like, right. He's got control.
So basically, he's looking at his thing, and then he was just like, wait a second, but Y2J has to go through Honky Tonk Man. I don't think that can happen. And then he was just like, all right, so let me switch it up. Let me go Perfect and Miz.
Yeah.
It just seems like Woo Flair was woo excited
he was
about this bracket.
Exactly. Jesus Christ. So those are the comments. So let's get on with this.
Let's get on with round one, and again, I'm going to read off the names, and I'll give the title reigns and how many days they were champion, and if me and Tony get into a tie, we're going to read off Elio Canella from Wrestling POV Global, which you can find every Friday on iTunes, YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio for free,
Now,
and he will give us his picks.
And we're not just going to say, like if I'm just throwing this out, I forgot who was, facing who, but like if it's Y2J versus Honky Tonk Man, I'm not going to say, like if it's my turn, I'm not just going to go with Y2J and not give an explanation on why versus the person he's facing. I'm going to give an explanation, just like Ricky.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was going to do that the whole time. All right. So our first matchup is the #1 rated champ of all time, Pedro Morales, who had 2 title reigns, and he's had the title for 617 days. Damn. He's going head-to-head against the 32nd ranked IC champ, Edge, who had the title 5 times, but only had it for 167 days. For me, this is actually pretty simple.
Yeah.
Pedro Morales had the title for 617 days. 2 title reigns.
Yeah.
That means at least one time he had it for over a year.
Yep.
So, Edge, yeah, you had it 5 times. Edge's glory really came in when he got the World Heavyweight title.
I was just about to say that too, yeah.
I know he was champ 5 times, obviously, but I don't, like, Intercontinental Champion Edge, didn't really stand out to me. He still had the bug-eye glasses.
Yeah.
And for me, Pedro Morales is going to be hard to beat in this tournament, so I think at least for the first round, I have to go with Pedro Morales.
No, I 100% agree. Edge is more known for his heavyweight title reign more than his IC reign, in my opinion. Yeah. Pedro Morales, being a kid and meeting him for the first time, I was like, but like you said, Rick, his record speaks for himself. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't like over the top, but he was a damn good wrestler, damn good IC champion, and I'm sorry, but 9 times out of 10, when I'm thinking about an IC champion, Pedro always comes to mind. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I agree with you 100%. Pedro's going to be hard to beat in this one. So I agree. Yeah, I go with Pedro.
All right, and just for shits and giggles, I have to say this. Elio picked Edge.
Did he really?
Yes.
Does he even know who Pedro Morales is? Oh, my God.
All right, next matchup now. This is going to be a tough one. We got the 16th rank, Chris Jericho, who had the belt 9 times, a record 9 times, for a total of 318 days. He's going up against the 17th ranked Jeff Jarrett, Double J, who had it 6 times for 284 days. Now, you want to go first?
Yeah. This one's hard.
It's a lot harder than people.
Yeah, than people think it is. Now, what everybody's got to understand, I'm not basing this on the success of Jericho right now. And that's what everybody's got to understand. It's not what he's doing right now. We're talking about the IC title reign when they had it in their prime as IC champion. What did they do for the belt? What did they do for themselves while they were IC champion? Again, we have to go back to what we just said about Edge. He was more known for his heavyweight title run than his IC title run. Honestly, I remembered he was IC champ, but I totally forgot that he had it that many times and he had it for that long. I really did. When it comes to mine in this one, between Jeff Jarrett and and Chris Jericho, I see folks are probably gonna hate me on this one, but I really don't give a shit. I see Jeff Jarrett. He was more known for his IC run than he was for his heavyweight run. When Global Force Wrestling or TNA, you know what I'm saying? So, Jesus, man.
He did lose to China.
He did lose to China.
Which gave a lot of prestige to the IC title.
Right.
For Jarrett to have that. And Jarrett was, the IC title was his biggest title he had in WWE.
Yeah. And
you saw that belt around his waist for a long time in his career in WWE.
And the thing of it is, like I said, you know what? I'm going to go outside the box. And people, again, I'm only basing this on their IC run. I know Jericho is the it wrestler now. but we're talking about IC. Just keep that in mind. So I'm going to go with Jeff Jarrett.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is huge.
Yep.
I'm going to mention what Elio picked here because Elio picked Y2J. And I was going to go straight and say it's Y2J for sure. But because you brought up about and started talking about Jeff Jarrett did have a lot of big moments with that IC title.
He did.
And big moments with China.
And not to cut you off, Rick, but I think a majority of his run when he was IC champ, he used that guitar a lot more when he was IC champ than he did any other time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that's not nothing to, determine that he was better than Y2J, but that was, as a heel, using that guitar to cheat, it was big. It was big.
Yeah. As big as that was, 9 times is hard to beat. 9 times is the top right now as champ, and I remember Y2J going to war with Kurt Angle, going to war with RVD, going with Edge. And there were some great matches that he had during those days and before he became heavyweight champion. And it was a long time before he became heavyweight champion, might I add. So for me, I'm going to have to go with Y2J just for the mere fact that 9 times is going to be hard to beat.
Right.
And you know what? I have to say, in the second round already, we have probably the most difficult task to pick between Pedro Morales and Y2J. Just saying.
Well, at least that's going to be in a later segment, so it gives me time.
So it gives us some time
to marinate
to
and think.
Woo!
Jesus.
Yes. All right, our next matchup is number 9, Mr. Perfect, who had 2 title reigns combined for 404 days, going against the second Intercontinental champ of all time. He was he was the second IC champion ever. Is Ken Patera. He had 1 title reign and it lasted 230 days. Now, I'm going to be honest, I've never heard the name Ken Patera before in my life.
Oh, really?
Second Intercontinental champion ever. He beat Pat Patterson. For me, Mr. Perfect is the IC title. He is the Intercontinental title. Again, another story about a man who never went past the IC title, never had a heavyweight title in WWE. Yeah. Mr. Perfect walking around with that IC title for a combined 404 days. It's a hard feat. He's the 9th ranked. I have to go with Mr. Perfect. Technically, one of the best technical wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
And the IC title was glued to this man's waist. And it was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
I have to go with Perfect.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you. And to be honest, I did not even... I know who Ken Patera is. He was actually, before Mark Henry, I think he was labeled World's Strongest Man. Because he was jacked. This dude was jacked. To me, he kind of reminded me of Scott Steiner. As far as build goes, and not the look. I'm just saying as far as build goes. But you know what? I didn't know he was IC champ. I totally forgot about that until you mentioned it. So, in this case, if I got to pick who's more memorable, it's got to be Mr. Perfect.
Yeah,
so
and remember,
I'm going with Mr. Perfect.
And what we're doing here, we're trying to find the greatest. And if you're forgettable, there's no way you can be called the greatest of all time. All right, our next matchup, we have Randy Savage at number 8. He had 1 title reign as Intercontinental Champion, but it was for 413 days. And he's going head-to-head against the 25th ranked RVD, Rob Van Dam, who had 6 title reigns and had 224 days. Tony, I'm going to go with you first on this one. Yeah.
Combined?
So 224 combined in 6 title reigns. Savage had 1 title reign for 413 days.
Jesus, man. This is another hard one, too. Wow. I mean, I do remember Savage as IC champ, and I do remember RVD as champ. Did they both have successful title runs? I'd say, yeah. Obviously, Savage, 1 time holding that belt and holding it for over a year. Wow. This one is difficult for me. Jesus Christ. This one is hard, though. My God.
I'm going to tell you this right now. All the first 3 matchups, all 3 guys have held it the longer time have won.
Oh,
Just
wow.
putting that out there.
Okay. Oh, jeez. How can you go up against Randy Savage and not pick him, though? As far as, in this case,
Yeah.
you look at RVD, he was past IC, and so was Savage. So did they both have good careers after the IC title? Yeah, they did. But we're basing this off the IC. Who had the... you know what? I got to go with Savage. I'm going to go with Savage.
You know what, Tony? You dragged that out way too long. Randy Savage, oh yeah, the cream rises to the top. Yeah, Mean Gene. Come on, man. That IC title, listen, man, during that time, 413 days, that's a long time as champion. And listen, people still to this day go to his interviews with the IC title, kissing the belt, loving the belt. I got to go with Savage. As great as RVD was as the Intercontinental Champion and the wars he went with Jericho and so on and so forth, Randy Savage? Macho Man? Come on.
Who
One of
Elio
the greatest.
picked? I'm curious.
Elio did pick Randy Savage.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. All right, next up we have, the 4th ranked, the Honky Tonk Man, who had the title one time for 453 days.
Damn.
Going up against the 29th ranked Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who had the title 5 times for 196 days. Triple H.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Go
ahead.
This is easy.
Yeah.
I mean, the Honky Tonk Man had that title for 453 days. To this day, all people talk about is the Honky Tonk Man and the IC title.
Now, didn't he key the phrase "I'm the greatest IC champ of all time"?
Yes, he did. I'm the greatest and all that other stuff. Yeah. That all went with his song. That's I'm the Honky Tonk Man. I don't even remember Triple H having that IC title, let alone 5 times.
Then again, he's another one that he was probably more known for having the heavyweight title than the IC.
Yeah. So for me, Honky Tonk Man, easy.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Honky Tonk Man. Gotta give
Elio
it to
picked Triple H.
Jesus. Elio!
All right, next up now, this is probably a more even-keeled matchup, even though they're separated by 7 spots. The 13th ranked Shelton Benjamin, who had the title 3 times for a combined 352 days, going against Kofi Kingston, the 20th ranked, who had the title 4 times for 272 days.
Okay. Is that me?
For me. Okay. Me. I have to go. Kofi Kingston. I don't remember Shelton having the belt.
I do.
And that's sad. For me, Kofi Kingston having the IC title, I think that was the best runs that Kofi had. Was with his mid-card titles. The IC, the US title, tag team, I hate him with the tag team. I hate that he has the most days as tag team champs of all time.
Yeah.
Which shows you that days don't mean anything sometimes. And in this case, it doesn't. I see him as more of a memorable IC champ. When he was Jamaican, he was my favorite version of Kofi Kingston. Shelton Benjamin, as technical as a wrestler he is, as a singles competitor, it wasn't for me. I prefer, and this is funny because they both were tag team champs. They both had singles runs, but I think Kofi had the better singles run as IC champ. So I'm going with Kofi Kingston.
In this case, I remember Shelton Benjamin more as an IC champ than I did of Kofi being IC champ. I'm gonna go with Shelton Benjamin.
Wow, interesting.
Yep.
All right, so now it's down to the tiebreaker, and we're gonna go with Elio Canella. Elio Canella picked Kofi Kingston.
Ah, all right.
Wow. Okay, so Kofi Kingston advances. Our next matchup is Dolph Ziggler, number 12. He had the title 6 times for a total of 363 days, going against the 23rd ranked, the 21st ranked Cody Rhodes, who had it 2 times for 254 days.
Okay.
You go first.
I'm gonna go with Ziggler. Nothing against Cody, and again, I have to constantly remind people we're not basing this off of what they're doing right now. Okay, we're basing this off of when they had the title. Okay, I have to go with Ziggler. I remember he did a lot more with that belt than Cody did.
Now, that belt that Ziggler was holding was because of Cody. That white strap belt was because Cody brought that title back. This is a tough one. I really liked Cody as Intercontinental Champion. I loved Dolph Ziggler as Intercontinental Champion. Man, this is tough. This is so hard. Oh my God, this is probably the hardest matchup so far for me.
Really, you think so?
Yeah, because they're even. For me, they're even keeled. Cody only had it twice
as IC champ.
Yeah, Cody had it twice.
Right.
Dolph had it 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man!
And Dolph had it for almost a year, all 6 times, right? Combination.
Yep. Okay. Combined. Yep. A little bit over a year, 363. Okay. And Cody had it for 254, 2 times. You know what? I'm going Cody.
Whoa.
Sorry. Cody. Yeah. And not what he's doing now, because I actually hate what he's doing now. Cody for me was the He brought that white strap back, and he brought prestige to the title back for that era.
All right.
Elio Canella went with Cody Rhodes, so Cody Rhodes will advance.
Wow, over Dolph Ziggler. I mean, this is the first time I'm sticking up for Dolph. I think you're both wrong.
That's true. I think we're gonna have some people angry about that one.
I think some people are gonna get angry with that one.
All right, next up we have the number 5 ranked of all time, Tito Santana, a friend of our show, came on our show not too long ago. Check it out. Had the title 2 times, the green strap.
The green strap, yeah.
And had it for a combined 441 days. Wow. He's going up against Shinsuke Nakamura, who had the title twice for 207 days.
Oh, wow.
Or 201 days.
201, okay. Right.
Yeah.
We have to go with Tito.
Yeah. Tito.
Sorry, Shinsuke, but, you know.
Tito Santana, bro.
Plus, Tito will kill us if we didn't have him go over Shinsuke.
In the nicest way possible.
Yeah, that's true. That he would, too. Come here, I would like to talk.
All right. The second half of the bracket. The number 2 ranked of all time, The Miz, had it for 8 different times, 592 days.
Damn.
Versus the 31 ranked Seth Rollins, who had it 2 times for 190 days. This is the Miz's to take right here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Seth
I agree Rollins, no way.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Advances.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the 15th ranked Jeff Hardy.
That's the quickest we ever had to decide.
Yeah, that's come on. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins.
Wait a minute, guys. Why didn't you pick me?
15th ranked Jeff Hardy, who had it 4 times, 323 days, going against the 18th ranked Bret the Hitman Hart, who had it 2 times for a combined 288 days.
And Jeff Hardy again? Read Jeff Hardy's again?
Jeff had it 4 times, 323.
Oh, man. Shit. Now, this is... Oh, God, this one is a hard one. You can't go... I like Jeff Hardy. He was memorable as an IC champ. I got to give him that. I'm going to go with Bret Hart.
Yeah, damn Skippy, you go with Bret Hart. Bret Hart had some wars with Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, before he became the other Heartbreak Kid WWF title holder. British Bulldog. Stuff like that. Mr. Perfect. You got to go with Bret the Hitman Hart here on this one. I'm sorry, Jeff.
Yeah.
You did your thing, but I got to go with Bret.
Yeah.
Next up is probably another tough matchup. The number 10 ranked Shawn Michaels. Had the title 3 times for a combined 406 days.
Wow.
Now he is going up against the 23rd ranked. He only had it 1 time, but it was the first ever Intercontinental Champion, Pat Patterson, for 232 days.
Jesus, man. This one's tough. This is on you, though.
You're right. Pat Patterson, the first ever Intercontinental Champion, fought down in Brazil, combined the North American title and the South American title to become the prestigious Intercontinental Champion. But he's going against the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, who started his singles career going after that Intercontinental title.
Right.
Who turned himself into the legend, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, because of that Intercontinental title. I got to go with Shawn Michaels. I'm sorry, Pat Patterson. Shawn Michaels was the better Intercontinental champion. You were the first, but you weren't the better man. I'm sorry. Shawn Michaels.
I agree with what you said. And Pat Patterson had some wars with that belt. I remember watching those matches. He did. He had some wars with
232 days.
Shawn Michaels had a memorable run with that title also. You know what? I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels advances. Woo, Tony! You know your old heads are going to be hating you on that one. He picked Shawn Michaels over Pat Patterson. Yeah. What the heck? Hey, Tony Diaz, take away his AARP card. All right, our next matchup, the 7th ranked Ultimate Warrior, 2-time Intercontinental Champion, 430 days as champion, going against the 26th ranked, only had it one time, Randy Orton, who had it for 209 days. This is on you.
I'm going to go straight up with Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan. WrestleMania 6, Intercontinental title for the WWF title. He changed the colors to yellow, blue, all different kind of colors of that Intercontinental title. Yeah. And he did make it big for what it was, because you didn't really see a man of his size carrying around that title.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we got the 3rd ranked of all time, 2-time Intercontinental Champ, Don The Rock Morocco, who had it for 539 days, going head-to-head against the 30th ranked, 4-time Intercontinental Champion, Christian, who had it for 188 days.
Come on, man. that was, wow. If you go against
Don Morocco,
I have no. Come on.
I love you, Christian. I'm sorry.
I do too, but come on. Morocco had probably one of the greatest title runs as IC champ as I've ever seen.
Yes.
As a heel, Hawaiian surfer dude, and he made it work, and he made you hate him.
Yes.
The original
Rock.
Rock.
Our next matchup. I'm glad you mentioned that. Our next matchup, the 14th rank, 2-time Intercontinental Champ, the People's Champ, The Rock. 337 days going ahead against the 19th ranked, had it one time, Greg the Hammer Valentine for 284 days.
Jesus. How long was The Rock?
The Rock had it for two times, 337 days. Greg the Hammer Valentine, one time, 284. Now, a lot of people, Tony, put Greg the Hammer Valentine in their final 4. Some picked them to win.
Yeah.
Are you agreeing with them, or are you going to go with the People's Champ, who people also put in their final 4?
What people has to understand, too, is that I don't think they saw the rank or how this was set up. I mean, they just thought in their head, Greg Valentine, he was my favorite. He's going to win this whole thing. But they didn't see him going up against The Rock. Oh, man. And let me tell you something. The thing with The Rock is that he was memorable regardless of what title he had. I have to give him that. Greg the Hammer Valentine, though, was probably a really good heel. His battles with it, I have to say, wasn't that great, I would have to say. He did have that feud with Jimmy Snuka, which I really liked. And I thought Jimmy was going to get that title at one point, but they never gave it to him. You know what? A lot of the old school motherfuckers going to hate me on this one, but I'm going with The Rock.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going with The Rock.
Wow. That
hurt. That hurt.
I love Greg the Hammer Valentine.
I do
He's
too.
one of my favorite old
Yeah.
school guys. Him and Piper went
Yeah.
to war with that chain.
Yeah,
bro.
dog collar match.
But
Nasty
as
wrestler.
Intercontinental champ, oh man, listen, man, I'm gonna go with The Rock.
Oof.
And the reason why it's easier for me to go for The Rock is because at least Honky Tonk Man moved on. Because I had to get one of them in. Because
is
Greg the
true.
Hammer Valentine, listen, he was one of those guys, and at this time in his era, everybody was doing the power driver, everybody was doing the figure four, everybody was doing the sleeper hold.
Yeah.
I think he was the only one that did all three. But yeah, I gotta go with The Rock.
True. Yeah. That was tough.
All right. Yeah. Our final two matchups.
Uh-huh.
We got the 11th ranked. I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Ooh.
Wade Barrett, 5-time Intercontinental champ for a combined 390 days, going against number 22, Dean Ambrose. 3-time Intercontinental champ, 242 days. I'm afraid I got some bad news, Dean Ambrose. This is Wade Barrett's.
I agree with you. I go with Wade Barrett. Yeah. You know what? And I forgot Dean Ambrose even had that title.
Yeah, I mean, it was the U.S. title that he had hostage that he didn't even defend.
Never defended.
But I don't. Yeah. Our last first round matchup, we have the 6th ranked 4-time Intercontinental champ, the bad guy, Razor Ramon, 434 days as champ, going against the 27th ranked 3-time Intercontinental champ, John Morrison, combined 203 days. There is no way anybody should be picking John Morrison.
No.
Razor Ramon,
Yeah. You got to get
holding 2 Intercontinental titles against Shawn Michaels in that ladder match. You got to go with the bad guy, Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that's our first round matchup for the IC title.
That was tough,
16
man.
guys versus 16 guys and 16 advance. We will be coming up on the second round shortly. But first,
That's tough.
it was very tough. It was very difficult. And Tony, it gets worse.
I know.
In the second round.
I know.
It gets
I know.
harder in the second round.
Jeez.
All right, Tony, I think it's time for the wrestling news from around the world. But before we do that, let's get into some birthdays. All right, this week we got a short week for birthdays.
Yeah.
Austin Aries turns 42 years old. Done? Is he done? AEW ever? Maybe?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think he fucked up with his WWE.
Oh, he
run.
definitely did.
He tarnished that. Sometimes you gotta humble yourself and just not have that attitude, that Ronda Rousey attitude.
Because it'll get you nowhere.
Yep. But Vicky Guerrero turns 52 years old.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah. Excuse me? Happy birthday, Vicky.
Right?
All right. It is now time for the wrestling news from around the world. The saddest news of the wrestling week. This one hurt. This is another one that hurt. Howard the Finkel, the number 1 WWF employee, the first ever employee of the WWF, the voice of voices, one of the greatest ring announcer of all time. Howard the Finkel passes away at the age of 69 years old. I loved what they did on SmackDown. I loved the video package they did for him. He was still doing work for WWE every now and then, doing like voiceover work. This was tough. This one was tough, man. I mean, this was new. Like, who didn't do that?
I know.
As a kid, as an adult, who
Everybody-
didn't do that?
Everybody did. Everybody did. You know,
Come on,
that
man.
day that Hogan beat the Iron Sheik, that big green belt,
Yep.
when he announced it like that, I got goosebumps just thinking about that. You know,
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that's so iconic. Just his voice, you know, in person. You know, they said he was a great guy, and a story with him and Vicky Guerrero. I got this off of her because you just mentioned her birthday too, and it was very touching when Eddie Guerrero died, and there were flying his body from, I think it was California, but I could be wrong, and they were flying him back to Arizona. Howard Finkel flew with Eddie's body.
Wow.
And he texted to, Vicky texted Howard to thank him and everything. And then this was Howard's response. He said, "I didn't want Eddie to fly home alone." That's what Howard Finkel said. I was like, wow, man, that's a good guy. And
yeah,
I have never heard a bad story about Howard Finkel.
Yeah, and he was.
No, what was great about the guy, and you know how we always talk about sometimes when wrestling they do the stupidest shit. We'll say it's stupid. Howard Finkel, he did some stupid stuff. When he was with the Bushwhackers, and then he did he had a couple feuds here and there. But the thing of it is, with Howard Finkel doing it, it was different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was different because
it was different than Michael Cole.
It was exactly, and the thing of it is, you didn't expect much from Howard Finkel to be like, oh my God, he's ruining wrestling. I'd never thought that. I always cheered for the guy. You wanted him to win because that's just the type of guy that he was. This hurt. This hurt.
Off the top of my head, the tuxedo match with Harvey Wimpleman.
Yeah, the tuxedo match. Yep. Yeah.
This guy was the voice of all voices. For me, right now, probably the 4 best voices that I heard as a child growing up in wrestling are on the Mount Rushmore for best voices, and all unfortunately have passed away. Mean Gene Okerlund, Howard Finkel, Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Bobby the Brain, yep.
I mean...
Yep. You think of wrestling and voices, exactly what you just said, Mount Rushmore would be them 4.
And Howard, it's sad. I'm really emotional about it. I'm really sad about this, and thank you for making my childhood better. Thank you for making me excited, because that's the job of a ring announcer, and people don't get it. To make you excited about who's coming out next. Make you excited about the championship bout. There are many people who do a great job. Lillian Garcia is one of them. But there will never be another Howard Finkel.
No, not by far. Not by far.
And I'm gonna leave it at that. That's all the wrestling news that I have this week.
Yeah.
Do you have any rumors?
Yeah, actually, I mean, I know we're going to talk about this in a little bit, about the wrestlers being released this week. You heard us a little bit in the beginning of the show. So apparently, all the cuts that the WWE made has saved them $4 million. The amount, now, I heard different numbers. I heard it was $4 million a month. Then I heard it was about $4 million in the year. Then I heard it was $8 million. Regardless of what it is, the bottom line is, if it's $4 million, even if it's $4 million, that's the same amount they paid Goldberg to do the Super Showdown. Okay, yeah. That's why I brought this up. Okay, I'm mad as hell, to be honest. And we're going to talk more about the releases in a little bit in the hot tag news. Now, still on the payroll. You ain't gonna believe this shit. Lars Sullivan, Hulk Hogan, Ronda Rousey, and the Bellas.
Wow.
Yeah. So you mean to tell me you couldn't release them for, like, Lars Sullivan? I'm sorry to say. I mean, I don't want to sound insensitive. And everybody that knows me knows that I'm not this type of guy. But everything that Lars Sullivan has gone through, okay? The depression, anxiety, whatever that he's been going through. And then, he got injured, What was his injury? I even forgot. Jesus Christ.
Knee injury.
The knee injury.
From the Lucha House Party. Yeah.
And he was out. He should have been back a long time ago, number one. But then you get the news of him being in an adult film.
Porno.
And gay porno, which, for me, if he, before he was making homophobic slurs, and here you are in a gay porno, where's he been? And you guys are still
not cutting him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you guys are still employing him. You know what I'm saying? Where you cut, like I said, we're gonna get more into it later, but that's my rumors. That's all I
right.
got.
Well, I got no injuries. Okay. So let's go into our second part of hot tag news. Jerry the King Lawler making some racial comments.
Yeah.
So during Tozawa's match against Austin Theory,
yeah.
Tozawa did a front flip. Senton, sorry. A rolling senton outside the ring. And this man, Jerry the King Lawler, calls it the ramen noodle moonsault. Jerry.
Oh, man.
Jerry.
And he's in the book, too.
Jerry, he's in the book for his jokes.
Yeah.
Jerry, bro, this is fireable, in my opinion. This is not okay. It's time to move on, Jerry. You were out for a while, and then your big return, you're gonna go and do this?
Yeah.
I mean, I heard it from the internet before I actually heard it on the show, and when I heard it, I said there was no reason for that. like Tom Phillips already called the senton.
Yeah.
Why say that?
Yeah.
And then you got people defending Jerry, fans defending Jerry, making comments on our Facebook page saying, well, if you're not of Asian descent, you shouldn't. No, because I'm not offended for the person. I am disgusted with what Jerry said. Mm-hmm. I'm not offended as an Asian person. I'm not Asian. I'm offended that somebody that's on TV would say that, and I'm offended that the WWE wouldn't mute that.
Yeah. They got to set.
They muted it after the fact.
I think they're 7-second pause or something like that. Yeah. When people started complaining, then they took it off the replays.
What is your take on it, Tony? What do you think?
Well,
I think he should get fired.
Jerry's jokes was Jerry's Lawler's ramen noodle moonsault comment offensive, or was it just Jerry being Jerry? Before I give my take, I just want to read some of these comments. Ray Gallagher, he says, well, something being offensive is down to the individual, isn't it? Who did he direct it towards? I'm assuming someone Japanese? Craig Simpson responded. He said it was directed towards Akira Tozawa. Ray Gallagher responded back, yeah, so it's a silly question. It's offensive if you find that kind of thing offensive. Though, the just Jerry being Jerry thing is a load of crap. He's capable of recognizing what WWE finds acceptable or not acceptable.
I agree. That's well written.
Yeah. Chris Armstrong, he says offensive. Also, Jerry being Jerry, which is the bigger issue? Brian Luke Lehman, he says definitely offensive. Definitely offensive. Just a couple more. Alexander Dunn, he said, first off, do you honestly think he said it or was reading it off a script or fed the line through his headset? Come on, it's fucking wrestling. Stop being a bunch of whiny bitches.
Tony, you would think that a WWE producer or Vince McMahon would say that into his ear?
They would never say that into his ear. James Bond, he says, that's just Jerry. Mark Rose, he says, just Jerry being Jerry, like it was Cornette being Cornette when he made the fried chicken joke.
And he got fired.
And he definitely got fired, yeah, he did. All right, here's my take on it. And this is, again, my personal opinion. Nobody else's. My personal opinion. Was it really Jerry just being Jerry? I think what Jerry was trying to do was trying to be like how he used to be, cracking jokes. Jerry Law has always been like that. He's always been like that. Has the time changed? Yeah, it has. There's certain things, we had this conversation a long time ago about what words are acceptable now and what words are not. I love a good racist joke. I really do, even if it's on my own. I find it funny. What Jerry said, I didn't hear it. I was paying attention to. I didn't hear him say ramen noodle moonsault. Today's day and age, yeah, it is offensive. The old school in me was like, damn, Jerry, that's fucked up. What are you doing, man? like I said, me personally, like I said, we talked about this a long time ago where, there were certain terms back in my day where it was acceptable to say, which is not acceptable now,
Yep.
Back in the day, if Jerry said this back in the day, it would have been acceptable. It really would have. Nobody wouldn't have a problem with it. But nowadays, no, this isn't really acceptable. As a business person, that's how you got to look at this. If this was your company and Jerry said that in your network, what would you say to him? How would you handle this? Would this be offensive to you? If it was my company, I said yes. And would I have let him go? I would say yeah. I honestly, you guys were making cuts. Maybe he should have been one of them.
Exactly.
Because God knows how much
money would they have saved.
Exactly. God knows how much they're paying him. And they got enough talent. I'm sorry to say. I like Byron Saxton. We all like Byron Saxton on the show.
Yeah.
Tom Phillips, he's got a good voice. You know what I'm saying? He's got potential. Michael Cole's been with the company God knows how many years. Leave him on SmackDown. And then you got Corey Graves, who, in my opinion, probably the worst commentator. Yeah, he's an asshat, and he's the worst commentator in wrestling today, in my opinion. And that I might throw that as a poll. Who knows? But as far as Jerry Lawler goes, his time is up. Give it up. And you know what? In my opinion, and we've said this too, Rick, that if we're saying for Jim Ross to retire and say to him, dude, it's time, Jerry, your time was way long gone.
Yeah, about 10 years late.
Exactly.
Right now.
So, yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, I'm with you. No way Jose can still have a job if Jerry does it. All right, let's move on to round 2 of our Intercontinental tournament. We got the first round out the way. Now we got the heavy hitters coming up. Tony, I'm going to go to you first.
Okay.
Our number 1 ranked Intercontinental champion of all time, Pedro Morales, going head-to-head against our 16th ranked and number 1 of all time for most titles of IC titles, Chris Jericho.
Oh, my God. You had to throw that in there. You know what? I'm not going to drag this out. I'm going to go with my gut. Pedro Morales.
Woo! Damn, why'd you do it? Why'd you do it, Tony? I'm going to tell you right now, Elio Canella went with Chris Jericho.
Did he really?
Yeah. So for me, the Latino in me wants to be like Pedro Morales, bro. Because, listen, man, we didn't have many Latinos out there.
Puerto Rican at that.
Especially during that time.
Puerto Rican at that.
Especially during that time. Especially during that time.
Yep.
But Chris Jericho, listen, we got the guy, number 1 guy who's had it for the most days.
I'm going to throw this at you, Rick. Now, I know it's difficult because of what Jericho is doing today. You know what I'm saying? I know it is because that's all I keep thinking about, too. So I'm trying to push that out the window, you know?
Yep, absolutely.
But it makes it hard, though, you know? I mean, I'm looking at it as I remember Pedro's title reign. I do. The battles, man. The battles were tough. And you want to talk about somebody representing the IC title? That was Pedro. That was definitely Pedro.
And Tony, this right here could have easily been a finals matchup.
Yes.
Because it's the number 1 guy for days, and it's the number 1 guy for title reigns.
Yes.
So it's like, who do you go with?
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you this. Whatever you decide, I think it's still going to upset some people.
Definitely.
Regardless.
And I can hear it.
Yeah.
Nobody in our comment section picked Pedro Morales to even get past.
No.
A lot of people did pick Jericho.
A lot of people picked, but again,
Cummins,
I have
Matt
to.
Novak,
but I have to go by. And I could be wrong, but I seriously think they're only picking Jericho because of what he's doing right now, his success right now. You know what I'm saying? Think about his success as the IC champ, not what he's doing right now. You know, but I could be wrong. Maybe they did think of it that way.
Listen, even back before then, he had the bubbly then as the IC champ.
Yeah.
He had the 2 bottles with Eric Bischoff. 9 times is a lot.
It is.
Pedro Morales, what did he do after he lost the IC title? He won it again, but he only had... Who? You know what? I'm going to go with the best in the world at what he does, Chris Jericho.
You just pissed a lot of people off.
Yes, I know.
The whole Latino community. They all in your inbox now.
Oh, man. Well, Tony, if that wasn't bad enough, our next matchup is the number 9 ranked Mr. Perfect against the number 8 ranked Randy Macho Man Savage.
Oh, my God. You got to be kidding me. It's on you, though.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. You know what? I think we got to do our next tournament should be jobbers. That way, at least it'll make it a little bit easier.
This is tough.
That's a tough matchup.
Again, this could be a finals.
It definitely could be a finals. Yeah. Now, what everybody's got to understand too, because you just said that, just like 5 seconds, Rick. Explain how you did these matchups from the beginning. Because some people will be like, "Well, how come that wasn't the finals? How come he wasn't in the other?" But just because some people they're like,
the ranking for this was the most combined days as champion.
Right.
So your days is what keeps you, not how many times you've had it. It's the days you've had it.
But how did you determine who goes up against who?
I went to the page of the listings of Intercontinental Champions, longest reigning of all time. It had 1 through 84. And I took the top 32, 1 to 32. I took those 32 names and I passed it on. You know, number 33, I forgot who it was. I wanted to put 33. 32 was Edge.
Yeah.
And number 33 was, who was it? It was somebody I really like. And I was just like, no, I can't do it. Because I got to be fair.
Yeah.
So I took the top 32. You guys know I hate Edge. And I didn't put in this person at number 33. I'll if I remember it later, I'll bring it up. But 32, it's 1 through 32 of days, okay? So right now we have number 9 Perfect versus number 8 Savage.
No, but I'm talking about how did you determine who goes up against who?
Oh, I did that like the regular tournament bracket. They have 1 goes against 32, 2 goes against 31, and so on and so forth.
Okay. I'm just saying because then people, because you mentioned it twice, how it definitely could have been a finals, and it could have been.
Yeah.
But the way we were doing this tournament was like exactly what you said. Whoever was number 1 went up against number 32.
Basically, the bracket gets broken up into 4 segments.
Right.
The number 1 goes into 1. Number 2 goes on the other side. Number 3 goes on the bottom left. Number 4 goes on the bottom right. And then so on and so forth. So that's how basically it is. It's like the NCAA bracket, March Madness style.
I'm just saying because you know how some people are. They're going to be like, well, you should have had it to where, people are just so
guys,
because trust me, exactly what you just said, the last 2, well, the one we're on right now, definitely could have been in the finals for sure.
Yep.
All
right, so Mr. Perfect was the number 9 ranked, 404 days. Randy Savage, number 8, 413 days.
Jesus, man.
Perfect had it twice. Savage had it once. And he had more days than Perfect in his 2 title reigns.
Jesus
now,
Christ.
What is more memorable? Macho Man as WWF champion or the Intercontinental champion? Mr. Perfect didn't have a WWF title. He put that IC title on the map. Had legendary matchups. Great matchups with Bret Hart, British Bulldog, Papa Shango, Tatanka, Shawn Michaels. The list goes on and on and on. Tito Santana. Macho Man, same thing.
Yeah.
413 days is nothing to look at. 413 straight days as champion, Intercontinental champion. I'm sorry though, if I put these 2 head to head, first of all, personality wise, both of them amazing 10s.
Yeah.
Technically, in wrestling, I'm a technical man. I love Randy Savage, what he does in the ring. I thought he was way better than Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, all those guys. But I have to go with Mr. Perfect.
Oh, man.
Whew.
That was rough.
Yeah.
And you dragged it out. But,
it was hard.
That was hard, and, man. listening to what you said, and while you were going through your spiel, I was thinking about it too. You know, Christ, this is tough, man. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with Mr. Perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Defeats the Macho Man.
And you know what? Elio Canella agreed.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy
Mr.
shit.
Perfect on all 3 cards advances over Macho Man Randy Savage. Rest in peace, Macho Man.
Oh.
Next matchup, our 4th ranked Honky Tonk Man versus our 20th ranked Kofi Kingston. This is a no-brainer.
Yeah, Honky
Tonk Man
Yeah.
advances. Our next matchup, we have the 23rd ranked Cody versus the 5th ranked Tito Santana.
You gotta go with Tito.
I'm only going with Tito because he was on our show.
Well, you know, Cody did do a promo for us and an interview for us.
Oh,
He was on the
wait.
show.
I totally forgot. Cody was on the show.
Yes.
Matt Novak interviewed him.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
But then again, Tito did cut a heel promo on you.
Ooh,
And
that's
he
true.
did say, I'm the second toughest opponent he's ever faced.
But who did more for the Intercontinental title?
My vote is Tito.
You know what? Let me just look at Elio went with Cody.
Really?
I'm going Tito. I'm going Tito. Arriba!
Arriba.
That green title, bro.
That green title, yeah.
All right, our next matchup, we have the number 2 ranked Miz. 8 title reigns, 592 days. Going against the 18th ranked, 2-time champ, 288 days, Bret the Hitman Hart. Tony, I'm giving it to you.
Yo, wait, who is it again? Bret Hart versus who?
The Miz.
The Miz? I like this matchup. It's a good matchup. Crap. I'm going to go outside the box on this one. And only because I think I'm only basing this off of who had the better memorable title run.
Yep.
And I'm going to go with The Miz.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm
And
good.
you know what? That's not a bad pick.
No.
Elio Canella,
Who do
he
you
went
went
with, let me see, he went with Bret Hart.
Okay.
And Tony,
Yeah,
my favorite wrestler of all time is
Yeah.
Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit, personality-wise,
Yeah.
they both have a lot of personality.
Yeah.
I would give Miz the slight edge when it comes to
yeah.
personality.
As a heel,
Yes. Technically wrestling,
it's Bret Hart.
Bret Hart destroys
Yeah.
Miz.
Yep.
Intercontinental title reigns, Miz had 8 for 592 days, the second most of all time.
And that's what I'm basing it off of, though.
Yeah.
You know, that's what made my
Bret
decision.
Hart, 288 days, 2 title reigns. Bret Hart had a war with the British Bulldog
Yeah, he
in Wembley
did.
Stadium. Had wars with Papa Shango, like I said, Mr. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
SummerSlam. Oh my God. Those matches are etched in my head. Oh my God. Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
WrestleMania 8, my favorite WrestleMania. You know what? Because I just remembered that, Tony. I don't remember a single feud at this moment. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
At this moment, I can't think of a single feud in which I was like, that was a great Intercontinental feud. Yeah. Dolph Ziggler maybe with The Miz? Miz and Ambrose maybe? You know what? As much as The Miz did for the Intercontinental title during this stretch of the era of the late 2000s, mid 2000s, I have to go with Bret the Hitman Hart. Mr. Perfect, Bulldog, Papa Shango, all those names, Shawn Michaels. Bret Hart was the better Intercontinental champion than The Miz, so Bret Hart will advance.
There you go.
That was hard.
That was hard.
And if that wasn't hard enough, our next matchup, the 10th ranked HBK Shawn Michaels goes up against the Ultimate Warrior, the 7th ranked.
Oh, shit. It's on you.
You know what? I'm going to do this. Listen, I love the Ultimate Warrior. WrestleMania 6 is in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Shawn Michaels.
Whoa.
And I'm going with Shawn Michaels because I want that Bret Hart-Shawn Michaels matchup in round 3.
All right.
What's your thoughts on this?
This one is definitely tough. But then again, oh man, who had
Before you pick, Elio picked the Ultimate Warrior over Shawn Michaels.
All right, so tiebreaker, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Now here's the deal. Who had the most memorable, Shawn Michaels or Ultimate Warrior? Ultimate Warrior, for me, from what I remember, was the match with Hogan.
That's one of the greatest matches of all time.
Exactly. Shawn Michaels, the match he had with Razor Ramon. The ladder match.
One of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time.
If it's not one, it's the. But not only that, the other feuds that he had for that belt. As a heel, and he was a dick. Oh, man. I'm going to go off of your analogy between Bret Hart and The Miz. Who's the most character or charismatic was the Ultimate Warrior.
Personality? Of course, yes.
Who's the better technical wrestler? It was definitely Shawn Michaels. For me, oh man.
Wait, before you pick, I'm going to throw this out. Ultimate Warrior ended Honky Tonk Man's reign of 453 days in 8 seconds.
Yes. But then again, that's just one of those deals where it's like, Vince was really trying to just push the Ultimate Warrior, where you looked at the Honky Tonk Man, who always considers to be one of the greatest IC champions of all time, and you squashed him just like that with the Ultimate Warrior. Kind of reminds me of what Sheamus did to Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? I mean, was that really memorable? No. Oh man, this one is definitely tough, but my decision is going to be Shawn Michaels.
Wow. All right. So round 3 is looking El Fuego. All right. Our next matchup, we have Don Morocco, the third ranked of all time, 539 days, 2 title reigns, against The Rock. 2 title reigns, 337 days.
Are you serious?
The Rock versus The Rock, and it's on you.
Oh man. You know what? One of the things, and I saved this moment for this so I can compare the two. But one of the greatest feuds ever was Don Morocco versus Jimmy Snuka. Jimmy Snuka was denied the IC title from Don Morocco. Okay? And of course, I was there at Madison Square Garden when Jimmy Snuka jumped off the cage. I was there, okay, as a little boy. That will always be etched in my heart, in my brain forever. I will never forget that day. There was a big beam in front of me, but I still saw it. So if you have an idea of what I'm talking about, I was way up in the nosebleeds. But at the same time, Don Morocco, he's another guy, in my opinion, that had probably one of the best title runs ever. The Rock, he's in that category of, in my opinion, he had a better title run as a champion than he did as an IC champion. Did he have some good feuds? He did have some good feuds. But the old school in me is going to go with Don The Rock Morocco.
All right. Elio Canella went with the People's Champ, The Rock. So this is coming down to me.
Yep.
The Rock, the old Rock versus the new Rock. The older Rock versus the old Rock. I am going to...
Still living in Hawaii, too. Morocco.
Both of them had it twice.
Yes.
Don Morocco had it for 539 days. The Rock had it for 337.
Wow.
The Rock was with the Nation of Domination when he was the IC champ. Had a lot of help from the Nation of Domination.
Yeah.
He had feuds with Triple H. He had feuds with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the IC champ. That's all I remember. Don Morocco, I have to go back into my WWE network and look at some of those feuds.
Classic.
Who did more for the IC title? I think at the time The Rock tried to bring prestige to the title or try to continue it because after that era that he started holding it, there was a little dry spell because Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels started going for the WWF title.
Right.
And then when their time started running out, when Bret's time started running out, you had The Rock step in and he went for the IC title. Goldust was there. Ahmed Johnson was there as IC champ. These are people that The Rock was fighting. Oh, that's who it was. Goldust was number 33.
Oh, really?
And I wanted to put him, and I just couldn't. I had to be fair.
Wow.
But you know what? With that being said, I'm going with the original Rock, Don Morocco.
Whoa!
Yeah, you gotta respect the old school sometimes. All right. I'm afraid I've got some bad news for Wade Barrett because he's going against Razor Ramon.
Dude,
probably one of the greatest Intercontinental champs of all time. I do have to tell you this, though. No-brainer.
I know exactly.
Elio Canella picked Wade Barrett.
Did he really?
Yes, he
Jesus,
did.
Elio.
Razor Ramon, hands down.
By far.
All right, that is our second round of the IC title bracket. When we come back from the pause, we're going to go into round 3. But before we go to the pause, we got our last part of the hot tag news. The WWE Purge, the releases of almost over 30 superstars.
Yeah.
Yep. Some people, Deonna Purrazzo from NXT, that one hurt. We just mentioned her last week. How much I liked her in that gauntlet match.
I think the saddest one was Drake Maverick.
See, that I feel like is a work.
You think so?
Because he's still in the Cruiserweight tournament.
Yeah, but wasn't that pre-taped?
I don't think so.
No?
Because they're doing live shows for the next couple of weeks, and then they're gonna go back to taping. So I don't know. So that's interesting. Yeah. So you know when people do that thing, and he's like, I gotta win it all now.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true
they've
too.
done that in the past.
Yeah.
But the one I feel sorriest for is Sarah Logan.
Sarah Logan, yes. She was just on
man.
Raw.
Yeah. No way, Jose.
No way, Jose.
I mean, he's not on Sarah Logan's level, but
no, but still, there's a talent right there, in my opinion. Straight up underrated. Underrated. He is
one of the few Dominican wrestlers.
Very, very
in
few.
Wrestling.
That's my other half of my country. But he had some good wrestling matches in NXT.
Absolutely.
And the takeovers, and they just, to me, honestly, they dropped the ball on him. Tall guy, big guy, and I just think they dropped the ball on him when they started doing this conga line bullshit.
Adam Rose syndrome.
Exactly. Didn't they learn from that from before? Come on, people. Get it together, WWE. That's one guy they should not. Now, I'm going to tell you this much. There's a lot of people they could have, and I mentioned it early in my rumors, that they should have released and kept these guys, you know what I'm saying? And do something with them, Now, they kind of listened to what I had to say because they kind of did it in This Week in Wrestling. But even still, Carl Anderson, the Good Brothers, they're gone. Rusev, he's gone.
Yeah.
Heath Slater?
Well, he has a chance to come back muscled up.
He does. To
be Jinder Mahal, to be Drew McIntyre, and be that.
And I think out of all people, once all this coronavirus is over with, I think he's going to be one that's going to come back for sure.
IRS?
Yeah. Mike Rotunda, which is Bray Wyatt's dad. Bray Wyatt's dad is gone. I'm like, wow.
Kurt
Epico,
Angle?
Primo, Rowan,
that was shocking.
Zack Ryder, who just spent $14,000 on some figures. No, we already said Mike and Maria Kanellis is gone. They got what they wished for.
But when you look at it, Tony, I know a lot of people are upset, but a lot of the people that got released weren't being used.
No.
The OC, Sarah Logan,
Rowan,
Deonna Purrazzo, Rowan.
Yeah.
Those are names that I feel bad for because they were on TV.
Yep.
on regularly.
Regularly, yeah.
You know, Rusev.
Mike Chioda.
That's the hard one. That's a
He
bad
was
one.
with the company for like 20 years.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Mike Chioda. Yo, there were so few refs' names that I knew. Earl Hebner, Mike Chioda, Tim White, and Nick Patrick.
Tim White. You can never forget Tim White.
Yeah.
Eric Young.
EC3. EC3's already changing his personality. He's
But not.
doing
Let
something
me explain something to you. I felt bad for EC3.
I know what you're saying.
I felt bad for EC3, but I don't care.
I'm with you.
The tweet, did you read his tweet? Don't ask me to be on podcasts. Don't ask me to be on this and this. I'm controlling my own destiny now. It's like, bruh.
That's a word.
You weren't shit to begin with anyway, so come on. You know? We made fun of you throughout our whole show, but if you want to come on our show, that's fine.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, this one hurt. Rusev, he can't go by Rusev anymore. Now here's the deal. And already, AEW fanboys, they're all going to go to AEW. No, they're not, man. Not all of them are.
OC is going.
They're going to New Japan.
New Japan. Yep.
Are you kidding me? They're going to New Japan. The Revival. Oh my God! Did you hear the Revival's new name?
Oh my God! Say it. I forgot. I saw it. What is it?
Revolt. The Revolt.
It's revolting.
It's very revolting. You know, and I don't know if they did that on purpose, so that way people can say, "Yeah, that's very revolting." But that's stupid. But they wanted to keep the FTR name. That's why.
Yeah, for the Revolt.
Yeah, for the Revolt. Wait, what? Oh my God! It's so stupid.
And their names are different too.
Yeah.
I didn't like them either.
Yeah, well,
but for those that got released in this purge, I'm sorry. Zack Ryder, you're best friends with Cody. That's an opportunity for you.
That's an opportunity for him. Yeah, absolutely.
Kurt Hawkins, go to the Indies. Go to the Indies. I don't want Kurt.
Yeah,
do the Indies.
He has a yeah. I mean, once all
Eric
this is
Young.
Now let me explain something too, and this is what's getting me upset. And it's nothing against. I never want to see somebody get fired. I don't.
Absolutely not.
It's a terrible thing. Or let go. But a majority of these people that were let go, they were furloughed too. You know what I'm saying? So if people don't understand what furlough means, that they still got a job, they're just not getting paid for it, which is unfortunate at the same time. But once everything gets back to normal, they're still going to get their job back. Okay? But at the same time, many episodes ago, and a few episodes I've mentioned too, I might do one pretty soon, I've read off some of these guys' contracts. You know, the Good Brothers were given over $500,000 a year to be with WWE. Okay? They're gonna be okay. They got enough money. This coronavirus is not gonna be a forever thing. Okay? They're already talking about opening up the economy, in stages. Okay? It's not gonna be a forever thing. These guys are gonna be okay. Sarah Logan is gonna be fine. Her husband is part of the Viking Raiders. He's still making money. I'm pretty sure, was getting a nice hefty check. I've read off the salaries for these guys. They're getting paid. Okay? They got enough money. They're gonna be okay. They're gonna be fine. Unless they were reckless with their money and spend every dime, and then that's on them.
Well, Sarah Logan hunts her food, so she ain't spending money on food.
So there you go. Leo Rush though is another one that's gone.
That was tough.
And I feel sorry for him because he was struggling even on the main roster.
Yeah.
But then again, I think I still know why they let him go. Did he change? I would say so, because they put the freaking cruiserweight strap on him. Okay. This one hurt, man. That's why I said in the beginning of the show, this is definitely a sad week in wrestling. I think, honestly, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think what the WWE did was wrong. They still could have kept these guys. Vince McMahon, if you're listening, you are a billionaire, okay? They're still scheduled to make over $500 million this year. Okay, and you release these guys to save whatever the amount of, even if it was $4 million a month, okay, protect your guys, man. You're still making money regardless. Remember one thing. You did a deal with the devil, and I'm sorry to say it's my fucking personal opinion, when you wanted to do those deals with the Saudi Arabia show, okay? Don't tell me you didn't make a lot of money doing that, and you can't freaking, help these guys out. You release them? Come on, man. Ridiculous.
Oh, shit. Tony knows I've been listening. Oh, shit, no. Oh,
that son of a bitch.
Go to commercial.
Fuck him. All right, well, with that being said, any final thoughts on this, Rick?
It's sad. In my opinion, there are about 5-6 names where I feel sad for.
Yeah.
Everybody else, you weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
Zack Ryder, you were collecting hundreds of thousands of dollars to do nothing.
Yeah.
To play with your little toys. So, woo. Go do it.
Yeah, there you go. But you know what? It's funny because a lot of people felt sorry for him the most.
I don't know why. Wait until he goes to AEW.
Oh.
Wait. How bad? He is not a good wrestler. The only thing he got going for him is the drop kick. He got a good drop kick.
Yeah.
I give him that.
Yeah. Yep.
What else does he do?
That's it.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
That being said, we're going to take a pause because we still got round 3.
Round 3.
This week in wrestling, round 4, the book, and the finals.
Yeah.
Who's the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time? We love you guys. We will see you on the other side of this commercial break.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle. Listen to the Wrestling POV podcast. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you go to ProWrestlingTees.com/WrestlingPOV and pick up your Wrestling POV podcast shirt today. We got 4 great shirts, 4 great designs for $19.99 plus shipping. You don't want to miss out on this opportunity. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/WrestlingPOV. And also just to mention, guys, we do this show absolutely free. We put our own money into this show. Purchasing a shirt definitely goes a long way for us, and it helps us out to keep running this show the way we've done it. We've also opened up 2 more shows. We have Wrestling POV Global, which is every Friday with the global guys who cover everything outside of WWE. And then we have another show now, MMA POV, with Anthem Liberated as the host. And he covers everything MMA. And running 3 shows on the network is not cheap.
No.
And it's one of those things where we have a free show and we're just asking you guys if you're interested, not forcing you, but we are. Purchase a shirt. $19.99 plus shipping at ProWrestlingTees.com/WrestlingPOV. Or you can go to ColinElbowBrand.com and save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. We always see a little bit of that whenever you use our promo code. So that in itself is you guys helping us out as we can continue doing this show. With that being said, it is now time for round 3 of the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time tournament. We are down to the final 8, Tony. Our first matchup is number where is he at?
You lost it, Rick.
Number 16. Y2J, Chris Jericho, 9 title reigns, 318 days.
Oh, boy.
Going up against the number 9 ranked 2-time Intercontinental Champ, 404 days, Mr. Perfect.
Ooh, damn. Wow. All right. You know what? Outside the box again, but I'm gonna go old school. Definitely old school. So, Mr. Perfect.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, with that being said, that makes my decision easier. I'm sorry, Chris Jericho. Mr. Perfect is one of the greatest Intercontinental champs of all the time. All the time. I have to go with Mr. Perfect here. Elio Canelo also went with Mr. Perfect.
Oh, wow.
Over Y2J. So that's crazy.
Wow. Y2J didn't make it now.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Perfect is in the Final 4 now. Listen, man, his battles, listen, guys, go back and just watch.
No, just go
These
back
are
and watch. Again, I sound like a broken record, but don't judge it on what Chris Jericho is doing right now. Judge it on when he was
and
IC champ.
One of the greatest.
Yeah.
9-time Intercontinental champ. I don't think the Miz is gonna probably break it one day, but not today. But Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. All right. Next up, speaking of wow, we have the Honky Tonk Man, the 4th ranked, one-time champ, 453 days, going up against the 5th ranked, 2-time champ, 441 days, Tito Santana.
Wow. It's on you.
Honky Tonk Man had more days in one title reign. Tito Santana had 2 title reigns, 441 days. I love you, Tito. I think you're great. I think what you did for the wrestling business is great. The fact that you got to the final 8 is a huge, huge thing. You beat Shinsuke, you beat Cody, but you ran into a guitar. I gotta go. Honky Tonk Man is one of the most memorable champs of all time. I'm gonna go with the Honky Tonk Man.
2 old schoolers, man, and who would advance more so? You know, I tell you though, and it's not for nothing, and this isn't gonna cast my judgment either, but I've always hated Honky Tonk Man's gimmick. You know, I really did. I hated it. I was like, how can this get over? Going up against Tito, friend of the show, my second toughest opponent.
His second toughest opponent.
His second toughest opponent. That's right. Jesus, man, this is tough. But I think I'm gonna agree with you, Rick. I'm gonna go with the Honky Tonk Man.
All right, Honky Tonk Man advances to the final 4. Next matchup, another tough one. This is gonna be hard all the way.
It is.
Bret the Hitman Hart going up against, he's the 18th ranked, 2-time champ, 288 days, going up against the 10th ranked, 3-time Intercontinental champ, 406 days, Shawn Michaels.
And these two had battles. Montreal Screwjob, but had nothing to do with the IC title, but I know that. Oh, man. This is tough. I know I shouldn't have to do this, but I'm just, oh my God. I'm going to go off of the most memorable match of all time, which was against Razor.
Wow.
So I have to go with Shawn Michaels.
Wow. Okay, Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, huge rivalry.
Yeah.
During that time, that is tough. And you know what? What makes it even harder? Elio picked Bret Hart.
Oh wow.
Over Shawn Michaels. So now it's up to me. We all know where my heart lies with Bret Hart.
Yeah.
I love the guy to death. He's one of I read his book. I met him in person. He said he's alive today because of me. He said that. Those were his words. He may have said because of fans like you, but he said me.
Yeah. He directed
definitely
it
said
towards
me.
you.
Definitely said it to me. He said that to me.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels had battles, but like I mentioned earlier, Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog, Wembley Stadium, Intercontinental title. Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect, SummerSlam, Intercontinental title. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper, WrestleMania 8. One of the best finishes of all time. Took away Piper's only title reign. I got to go with Bret the Hitman Hart.
Oh, wow.
Shocker. All right, last but not least, Don the Rock Morocco versus Razor Ramon.
Oh my God! You got to be kidding me! It's on you though.
And you said it. You mentioned it. All right, Don Morocco is a 2-time Intercontinental champ, 539 days. Razor Ramon is the 6th ranked, 4-time Intercontinental champ, 434 days. So not much of a difference here.
Right? Yeah.
What
was the rankings again?
Don Morocco's 3, Razor is 6.
Oh,
Don
wow.
had it twice. Razor had it 4 times. Don had it for 539 days. Razor had it for 434.
Okay.
So Don had it less times, more days.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go with the more memorable moments for me. And for me, it's Razor Ramon as the Intercontinental Champion. So I'm going with Razor.
Oh, boy. This one is tough. This one hurts. Bad. But, yeah. Oh, shit. I mentioned already the accolades between the two. What was more memorable for me, obviously, it was the ladder match for Razor, the Snuka feud with Morocco. Damn. Shit. And Morocco was one of my favorites, too, growing up. But I can't go off of that. I'm going to go with Razor Ramon.
Wow. Razor Ramon advances to the Final Four. So our Final Four is Mr. Perfect, Honky Tonk Man, Bret the Hitman Hart, and Razor Ramon.
Wow.
Guys, it's time for This Week in Wrestling.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Let's get straight into it. Tony, what was your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week?
Raw wasn't that bad. It wasn't that great either. But it had some good moments. I loved, honestly, the highest one was Ruby Riott versus Asuka for me. I thought that was a really good match. The lowest point for me was just the Charlotte promo. Why is she doing it on Raw?
Why is she on Raw?
Keep it on NXT. if the reason for putting the title on her was for her to be on NXT, then keep her there. Actually, no, my bad. The highest point for me was Drew McIntyre versus Andrade. Really like that match. I'm digging the tag of Ricochet and Cedric. Raw wasn't that bad. Actually, no. Again, my bad. I'm reading my notes all backwards. My bad. The lowest point for me was the Becky promo. I'm just so over her already. I'm just done.
I agree.
It's like, come on, man. Enough. Overall, I gave Raw a 2.
Wow. For me, I agree. I thought Asuka versus Ruby Riott was really good. I gave it a 2.5. I love Asuka.
I do.
I love everything she's doing.
And from what I'm hearing is that Vince is now starting to become a fan of Asuka.
Finally.
Exactly.
Her and Kairi Sane in their interview, that's old school.
Yeah.
That interview was so old school. I loved it. I love the dancing. I love the foreign language.
Mm-hmm.
I love just everything. Kairi Sane has a different voice. She has a higher pitched voice, and it goes. Oh my god! I just love it. Love it. Love the old school aspect.
They need to keep Kairi Sane.
Yes,
they can't get
the highest
lose
rating.
Her.
The highest rating for me was the Viking Raiders defeating Cedric and Ricochet. I gave that a 3.
Mm-hmm.
My lowest point was Becky's promo, Andrade and Zelina's promo backstage. Why are we doing the same promo twice?
Yeah, that I didn't get.
Why is Drew doing the same promo twice?
Yeah.
Why is Austin Theory and Garza and Andrade coming out 4 times in one night?
And what's with Tahuti Miles, man? They put him on almost every show now.
Tahuti and the Blowfish, bro. First of all, he needs to get himself together. You're not the Dream.
Yeah.
He's giving me Dream vibes. Like, that's not who you are.
Yeah.
Overall, I gave Raw a 1.6. Wasn't the greatest, wasn't the worst, but could have been better. Right now it's time for NXT POV. For me, the highest point of NXT was cross-attacking Ciampa.
Yeah.
First of all, the commotion they had for it,
and
then tick-tock.
Yeah.
That was amazing. 3.5. I loved it. Short and simple. The lowest point for me was Adam Cole Dream promo.
Yeah, that was
Gave
terrible.
that a 1.
That was terrible.
And Gonzalez. How do you have her lose to Tegan Knox by Schoolboy?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Her first official match. Mm-hmm. I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Have her get attacked and knocked down after the match.
Yeah.
Don't have her lose.
Stupid. Yeah. It was dumb.
Overall, gave NXT a 1.9.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the lowest point was just the Dexter Lumis versus Tahuti Miles again. It's like this Dexter Lumis character is not there.
Though you have to give it up. He did listen to the show, and he did get more physical.
He did.
Those hook punches he was doing.
Yeah. That was pretty nasty. But I just wasn't into it. That was the low point. Oh, and then I had a couple other low points, but that one for me stuck out the most. The highest for me was Akira Tozawa versus Isaiah Swerve. I liked that match. I gave it a 3. And the Undisputed Era versus Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher. Timothy Thatcher, man, he's a nasty dude, man.
Yeah.
I gave that match a 3. Now, in the Undisputed Era, the reason why, do you know why Roderick Strong was in this match?
No.
Because the one that was supposed to be in it is a diabetic. So his immune system is not, he shouldn't be out. He needs to be quarantined. So that's why Roderick Strong was in it. Overall, I totally agree with you. Just the ending of Killer Cross. They changed his name though.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Don't like it.
And the thing of it is, this is all Vince. Vince doesn't want like War. He doesn't like the name War, so that's why the War Raiders had to change their shit. He doesn't like Killer, so he had to change his. It's like, come on, man, stop. Sometimes a name can create a person.
Yeah.
Overall, I gave NXT a 2.
All right. AEW, what you got?
Boy, AEW. My lowest point, and if you don't know what my lowest point of is this show, if you remembered a couple episodes back, I did say, and I'm sticking to my guns, anything that has to do with Colt Cabana, I don't give a shit what match he's doing or what segment he's doing. I will always give it a 0.5. So guess what my lowest point was? Lance Archer versus Colt Cabana, that was a 0.5. Hated it. I hate him. I can't stand him. I got a big hatred for him.
Lance Archer did well in this match.
He did. And that's the thing. I like it, Lance Archer. I like the character. I liked everything about it. The highest point for me, though, and it was a 2.5, was the Jake Hager versus John Moxley. AEW was atrocious for me this week. I gave it a 1.58.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gave the Jake the Snake promo 2.5. That's my highest thing. Everything this guy touches is gold. It makes you excited.
Yeah.
My lowest point, Bubbly Bunch. What are you doing? 0.5. Sean Spears defeating Law, 0.5.
Yeah.
There's no reason for this. I did not like AEW at all. 1.4 stars. When it came to AEW versus NXT is currently ahead 16-9. They are up 17-9 because this AEW was not good. All right, so SmackDown for me also was not good. 0.5 for the New Day winning the goddamn tag titles in a non-tag team match. Ridiculous, atrocious, circumstantial, evolutionary, revolutionary, disgusting, obnoxious,
deplorable,
belongs in the toilet, deplorable, horrible,
very horrible,
terrible, disgusting. I hated it. I
hated everything about SmackDown.
Why would you do that? And then you had Kofi and the other one, Xavier.
Yeah.
And, come on. Why are you giving 8-time champs?
Yeah. Yep.
You know what? Because of this, Tony, our next tournament is going to be a tag team title tournament.
Let's do it.
Because
next
New Day is going to have something coming. I'm telling you that right now. I'm not having that. First round, one and done. Yeah. That's my vote. Whoever they go against. My highest point, Dana Brooke defeating Naomi. Gave that a 2.
Wow.
Dana Brooke got a win, guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
Over Naomi.
Overall, I gave SmackDown a 1.2, but I do have to mention, Money in the Bank has the greatest idea ever.
Yeah.
That is the best thing they've ever come up with. Climbing the corporate ladder, starting from the ground floor, going to the roof, and getting the briefcase. Touche. Great job, WWE. You got something right.
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah. SmackDown was just atrocious, man. And the one thing you forgot, Tamina beating Sasha Banks to face.
Disgusting.
But not okay, I agree that it is disgusting. But at the same time, we always complain about the same people going over and over. SmackDown did something different. They had 2 people that you did not think that was going to go over went over. And Tamina and Dana Brooke. Shocking, to say the least. But yeah, no, there was a lot of ones on this show. The Moment of Bliss, terrible.
Oh my
Sheamus
God.
versus Nano, whatever the fuck his name was. That was a one. The Sonya Deville promo with I thought that was over with. A one.
Ugh.
Corbin beating up Elias. Again, that was a one. The highest point for me was Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan. I loved it. I think the Cesaro is one of the most underrated wrestlers in WWE right now. They use him a lot, and he's a great wrestler, and they just screw him over. It's like ridiculous. Overall, I gave SmackDown a 1.56, worse than AEW.
Wow. Well, I gave it a 1.2, so that's even.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that SmackDown will not win Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT.
No.
Currently, NXT is ahead 1-0. Tony, can you make the decision? Because for me, it's difficult.
This one,
definitely.
well, I rated both of them a 2.
All right. So you know what?
So this one is hard for me too. Yeah.
Off my points, Raw has a 1.6. NXT has a 1.9.
Wow.
You know what? Because of Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors, and Asuka, I'm gonna go with Monday Night Raw this week.
All right.
Just hands down because of that.
For me, I forgot my honorable mention on NXT, Zia Lee.
Yeah.
My God. Oh. That's all I'm gonna say. But no, I agree with you. I think they always had something going with Kairi Sane and Asuka. And Asuka did have a good match against Ruby Riott. The Viking Raiders, Cedric Alexander, even though they lost, I still like that tag team in itself. NXT, though, the debut of Killer Kross, that was epic. That was gold. This was really close. But you know what? I'm only going to go with Raw because this was the last time we saw Sarah Logan, and this was the last time we saw No Way Jose.
All right, so now it is Raw 1, NXT 1, and SmackDown 0. It is now time for round 4 of our IC tournament. We are down to the final 4. Tony, Mr. Perfect versus the Honky Tonk Man. Who you got?
You know what? I was thinking about it throughout when we were doing This Week in Wrestling, and I'm going with Mr. Perfect.
You know what? I agree with you, and so does Elio. Mr. Perfect is going to the finals.
Wow.
Next up, we have Bret Hart versus Razor Ramon.
Jesus, man. All right, you know what? This one, nothing against Bret Hart. I've been thinking about this one, too. I just cannot get over that ladder match against Shawn Michaels. That was just so epic, and it always will go down in history. So I'm going with Razor Ramon.
All right, Elio went with Bret the Hitman Hart.
Oh, boy.
All right, Razor Ramon did have a great ladder match with Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
He had some battles with Goldust. But as I've mentioned before, Bret Hart had the match with the British Bulldog.
Yeah.
He had the SummerSlam match with Mr. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
He had the WrestleMania 8 match with Roddy Piper. I have to go with my boy, Bret the Hitman Hart.
Ah!
Into the finals. Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect in the finals coming up after the book.
I think you can get a lot of heat for that.
Ugh.
I really do.
We're gonna Elio too.
Elio pick Bret Hart? You said?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, it's time for the book. Those that are new to the show, basically what we do is we put the most ridiculous things that happen in the week of wrestling, and we just put it in our own little book. We get a little laugh. We get a little ha-ha. We get a little tee-hee-hees. And it's just to make you guys laugh. We get a kick out of it, and we just keep talking about it because those are the odd things that happen in the week of wrestling, and, we do need that laugh. All right? All right, we ready?
Yes, sir.
Dominican Usos. That stays. I can't get over that. Sam Roberts. Did they get another haircut, too, it looks like?
Yeah, they cut it a little shorter.
Yeah. Sam Roberts, GFY. This stays. I can't stand him. Kofi's Goldilocks. It stays.
Stays. Worse.
Keith Lee's Salutations Chin Straps. That's fucking
stays.
hard to say. Prince Sammy Castro.
Stays.
Guards' cousin Speedos.
Stays.
Aleister Black's hairy nipples.
You know what? That was another thing. Raw was bad with that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Jeez. Coronavirus. Samoa Joe's dope. They say he's coming back soon, but I guess they're waiting. They said they're going to wait until this is over with, the quarantine. So, yeah. AEW Fanboys times 2. Stays, definitely. Goldberg's Twitch. You want to take it out?
Yeah, take it out. Take it out.
Yeah, he's done.
Life.
And if he comes back, I think we might have to consider probably.
Lifer.
Yeah, put him in as a lifer. Paul Heyman's hair spot.
Stays.
Jerry's jokes.
Woo! Stays.
Definitely stays. Liv Morgan's cage wedgie.
Woo!
That stays, child.
Stays.
And speaking of cage wedgie, Mandy Rose. My God.
Boy.
Let me tell you something.
Child.
You know what? I'm going to keep my comments to myself when it comes to that. But put it this way. She looked good. She looked really good.
Yes, she did.
All right. Becky's chappy lips. It stays.
Stays.
Becky's peanut butter mouth. It stays. Coronavirus. Stays.
Stays.
Rod Zapata.
Who?
Rod Zapata, the ref. Rod Zapata's Whitehead.
Oh, that whitehead.
Yeah.
Yeah, just take it out.
Take it out? All right. But if I see it again, he's coming back in.
Definitely.
And the new entrant to the book, Ronda Rousey's bitch ass.
Stays for sure.
Yeah, it does.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you all been waiting for. The finals for the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time.
Shiver
We
me
have.
timbers.
Why? Why do you do the things you do?
Don't get him going, please. Don't. Just go straight into
We
before he hits the
have
button.
the number 9 ranked, 2-time Intercontinental champ, Mr. Perfect, with 404 days, going up against the 18th ranked, 2-time Intercontinental champion, Bret the Hitman Hart, with 288 days. Wow. Tony, it's up to you.
You know, I know it seems like a pattern, but it's not. But when I hear between the two, when I hear IC champ and I hear memorable, I have to go with Mr. Perfect.
Wow. And listen, this is the matchup I wanted more than anything. And I have to tell you right now, Elio Canella had the same finals, and he had Bret the Hitman Hart winning.
Ooh.
So we have a tie, and I'm going to break it. Now I know what everybody's thinking. Mm-hmm. Rick loves Bret the Hitman Hart. Everything about this man, he loves Pink and Black Attack. He loves it all. I also love Mr. Perfect and everything he has done in the business. When you think of the Intercontinental title, I told you, Bret Hart for me against the British Bulldog, against Mr. Perfect at SummerSlam, against Roddy Piper at WrestleMania 8. Mm-hmm. But you know what, Tony? When it comes to the Intercontinental title, there's only one man I ever think of. And that man is absolutely perfect. So I am picking for the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time, Mr. Perfect.
There you go.
Congratulations. Rest in peace, Mr. Perfect. You are crowned the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time. Tony, this was probably the hardest thing we've done.
This was definitely one of the hardest tournaments we've done. We've done tournaments before. This one was probably one of the hardest ones to ever do. You know, we had a friend on the show, 2 of them, that we had to do, that we had to pick, and then we had to pick against, you know, childhood memories we had to go off of, you know, and, you know, I mean, a lot of people, how many people picked Mr. Perfect?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. You know, a lot of them went with Jericho, and I'm sorry to say, people, though Jericho was a great, possibly, you know, IC champ, I think this tournament was fair. I think it was fair. I think it was unjust. Again, and I know I sound like a broken record, but You know, I honestly think we're just going for Jericho because of what he's doing in AEW now. It's like, no. We're talking IC. We're talking IC.
And I get it. He is the only one with 9 title reigns.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, this is scripted. But at the end of the day, this is our POV.
True.
We broke down the tournament. You guys gave your input, and it was gladly taken. It hurt me so bad not to pick Greg the Hammer Valentine when he had his matchup. But at the end of the day...
You know, I mean, out of all the wrestlers that we had picked, the one that hurt me the most was there was 2 of them. Pedro Morales and Don the Rock Morocco. Those are the 2 that hurt me the most. To not even be considered in the Final 4. You know, that hurt me the most. But Mr. Perfect, deservedly so.
Yeah. All right. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned because next week we're going to do this again, but with tag teams.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss it.
Nope.
May I please have your attention? The store will be closing in 5 minutes.
I think we're done anyway. So
yeah, I think so.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. That was a good tournament. And if you agree, hey, you agree. If you don't agree, drop a line on our Facebook page and tell us why you don't agree. Either you don't agree with me or some of my picks, or you don't agree with Rick with some of his picks, and explain why. Drop a line on our Facebook page, and we'll talk about it on the show next week. We will.
Definitely. We're gonna put up the full bracket with the full picks up.
Yeah, and just throw your opinions on there, and then we'll explain. And then actually, no, you know what? You explain why you think so-and-so needed to be in this and or win it or whatever. Or why you disagree with what I said, or why you disagree with what Rick said. And we'll talk about it in next week's show for sure. But definitely tag teams next week. That'll be interesting. I think that's it for the show, yeah.
Definitely, that's it.
All right, so before we close the show, what I do is I play a song from my playlist. It's just how we end the show. Play along with the Wrestling POV crew, and we ride off into the sunset until next week, and we bring you more content and more shit that we can just think of to entertain you guys, to keep you guys busy during this coronavirus. With that being said, I am your host, Tony Diaz, along with the third wheel,
Rick Sorrento the third,
and our intern,
Miguel Cole. Adios.
Love, peace, and wrestling. See y'all next week.
Absolutely perfect.
Perfect. All right, here we go. We ready?
Yes. Is this Cole Cabana?
No. They just were released.
The OC?
No.
The Revival?
Hawkins and Ryder. I gotta do another one. That's so funny.
That's JE-double-F JA-double-R-E-double-T.
He's an IC champ, right?
Yeah.
Didn't make it too far in the bracket.
No, he lost the first round to Chris Jericho.
I'm surprised nobody picked him either.
Slap nuts.
Slap. I tell you, I remember when he hit Beetlejuice from the Howard Stern show. You hit him with the guitar because he called him a slap nut.
Yeah.
That was too funny. Oh, we don't own the rights either.
Yeah, definitely not.